Hi, I'm Bruce from Best Sag Stuff, and I'm here to help you make the best dagger hair weapons possible. There's a lot of different types of glues or adhesives that we like to use to bond together different types of foam. The most popular and one of the best to use for dagger hair weapons is good old-fashioned DAP, Wellwood Contact Cement. Always make sure that you get the DAP in the red can and make sure it's not the gel formula. Now, I've used a lot of this can. You can see it has a pretty thick consistency. This can is old, so it's gotten a little thicker. It's a little bit runnier when it first opens, but it's still good. Now, one of the best accessories you can have when using DAP is a timer, because you have to wait after applying it to both surfaces for at least 20 minutes, maybe even 30 if it's a humid day. So I always like to set the timer whenever I start using DAP to make sure I don't miss the mark. You don't want to let it sit for too long. You've probably got about 20 minutes to a half hour of working time, but after that it starts to lose its strength. I'm going to demonstrate how to apply DAP really quickly. First, I'm going to take this piece of EVA foam, like the type we saw on my site. Okay, here's two pieces of the foam. I'm going to apply it using just another scrap of foam. Don't waste money on foam brushes or little paint brushes. You can just use a scrap of foam like this. Now, when it comes to using the DAP on this type of foam, it's kind of absorbent, and you might find this with other foams as well, in which case you're going to want to put a second coat on. So what I'll do is put on one coat, as you see now. You don't want to put it on too thick. It doesn't need that much to soak in, and it doesn't need that much to bond. I'm going to get most of the major dribbles off. That's just going to add unwanted weight if I was making an actual weapon. Alright, don't forget to close your can back up and set your timer for 10 minutes. Alright, so the alarm just went off. Our 10 minutes have passed. I'm going to apply a second coat of DAP to these surfaces. Now, I should add that I'm sticking foam to foam together here just for the purposes of this demonstration. When it comes to all my foam and foam blondes, I prefer to use a spray glue because it's a lot cheaper, it's a lot faster, and gives just as good results if you use the right kind. So now we're going to let these set for, it's a pretty humid day, so I'm going to go ahead and set it for 25 minutes and then check to see if they're ready. Okay, so now our alarm's gone off. We've waited our 25 minutes, and these pieces are ready to join down. Now, as long as you don't have DAP on your fingers, you should find that they aren't really that sticky. It's really just pretty tacky, but not really sticky until you join the two pieces together. When you do make contact with these two pieces, they're going to stick really hard and they're going to rip the foam. So you want to be really careful when you line your pieces up that they go on straight. Now, start with an edge or a corner and just bring them into contact. And lightly roll the one piece down only one edge of the foam, and then you can bring the sandwich together. Now, they call it contact cement, so it's going to want some contact. Go ahead and push all over the joint to make sure all the surface has contacted the other surface. And there you've got a great DAP bond. One note on using DAP. When you generally want to wait while it's really strong now, that's going to keep venting. There's going to be fumes that keep coming out of that joint for at least 24 hours. So when I'm putting together a weapon, I like to do all my DAP work and then let it sit for 24 hours before I come back and add tape overwards. If I put the tape on and seal the joints first, that venting doesn't happen as well. It affects the bond of the tape to the foam, and I probably make some difference to how well the bond of the DAP to DAP works. Next, I want to go over using contact cement to stick foam to the fiberglass core. Now, I'm just going to use this scrap because it's easier to get on camera, and I'm going to go ahead and use this scrap of foam to join it to. Now, one thing I love to do with these fiberglass cores is to start by wrapping them in the athletic, the hockey tape here. This will bond just fine with the DAP, and as long as you do a spiral pattern like this, it's not going to come free of that core. Now, this has a lot of advantages. One, it keeps you from getting fiberglass splinters while you're handling the weapon as you continue to make it. Two, it keeps all those splinters from being in contact directly with the foam where they might start to tear it and cut into it, especially at the end. And I'm going to show you as I get to the end of this how that works. See, I like to overextend my wrap until it just overlaps. Give it a cut. Now I'll use my box knife and just sort of get it right in the corner there and make little cuts. And just go ahead and fold them over in order of their length. So you start with the small ones and then the long ones. Now that's ready for the contact cement. Now, since this is foam, again, I'm going to have to come back and do a second coat in 10 minutes before I join them. Then I'll wait. I probably won't need a second coat on the fiberglass. Once I've got that second coat applied, I'll wait another 20 minutes, join them both together, and I'll be all set. As an alternative to this method, you can also use a Super 74 spray glue from 3M. Of all the spray adhesives, this is the only one that I would recommend using for that core to foam bond. It by far has the strongest bond for that kind of thing. But again, this is really, I only use it if I'm trying to save time. The strongest bond you're going to get with contact cement.